Hi, man.
Hey man,
Welcome
welcome. Thank you.
to Romania and to this wonderful event, Green Connect, which we're doing together. I didn't think this is going to happen, sincerely. When we got closer and closer to World of Coffee, then the gap started closing. I was telling Laura, look, man, I don't know if they'll all make it, first of all, and I don't know how many roasters will come. I had some anxiety.
Yeah, I know you didn't sleep much the
But
day
I
before. I
mean,
remember.
the number of people we had coming in and this event, how it came through, and what a privilege to have the producers all coming here. And it wasn't just like producers. We have from Africa, we have
Central America,
South
Brazil.
America. So we've
Yeah.
covered every continent almost. Um, how was World of Coffee? First of all, you're coming from World of Coffee. I'm asking everyone this first. How was World of Coffee and the championships for you? Because I know you had competitors.
First word that comes out was tiring, exhausting, exciting. So exciting, obviously. It's always great to see so many people in the same place. A lot of friends, a lot of producers. Really exciting to see our competitors qualifying in the finals and of both competitions, latte art and coffee and good spirits. Yeah, super happy for Danny to place number two. I think this is with the Irish estate, but on a personal level, for me, very meaningful. Biggest trophy yet in world of competitions for our new farm. Yeah, so this is the first one that's taken a world stage. He's done very well with it. So yeah, from that point it was exciting. I was a little bit busy with Nucleus, cupping coffees with you as well throughout the world of Geneva. So it was fun. But to be honest, this was fun. Last 2 days in Romania was a lot of fun. This is probably something I enjoy more because we have not right people, because we had so many amazing people in Geneva, but like enough people that we can share quality time and we can sort of work together, have meaningful sessions over 2 days, share coffees, learn about local culture and everything. When it comes to coffee, what are the demands? And I feel the event was absolutely amazing.
What do you think about the coffee scene here in Bucharest? Because this is the third time you've been here now.
So this time I did not get a chance to taste coffees yet. I'm looking forward tomorrow, seeing some of the best roasters in the country and tasting their coffees again. So yeah, but what I think of the people and the culture and like what's happening here, it's amazing. A lot of high-level professionals cupping coffees with them last 2 days, very refined palates. I am very, very pleased that some of the leaders in this country, they are looking for high-quality coffees that I love. Juice, I love to grow, I love to ferment, and I'm pleased that they're connected with these coffees. So I think we are sharing very similar vision about specialty coffee, driven coffees, clean processed coffees, beautiful, balanced, smooth coffees that represent their countries, all varietals in the best way. So it was nice to see that. It was nice for us, like when we, introducing a new projects like Ama Geisha project. Obviously, we believe it's work and we believe it has a value, but we really can verify this when we cup coffees with people like yourselves and your roasters. So it was nice to see that what we value highly, community here values highly as well.
Yeah, we missed Luis, unfortunately, on this podcast. I should have done it with him yesterday, but he had an emergency and he had to go.
Yes.
But tell me a little bit about the Ama Geisha project.
So Ama Geisha, in a short, it started 3 years ago. Luis was trying to convince me to go to Brazil for quite a few years. And one of the main reasons I did not go to Brazil is because Project Origin, we've been dealing with Luis for the last 13, 14 years, but we have been purchasing a lot of 82, 83, 84 point coffees, like a lot of commercial coffees, high volume, consistent, great. They do an amazing job in the blends and not necessarily getting, the specialty macrolots.
Yeah.
So he finally managed to convince me to go to Brazil, and that he proposed the project after he showed me the farm. And that he's got so many different geisha varietals in there, and he said, Sasha, I'd love to work with you so we can actually make these geishas processed in a certain way with the new trends, dry, and we can make them popular and famous. Often I receive quite a bit of invitations for similar projects, but the main reason why I decided to say yes is number one is trust that we have. I know that Luis has invested so much of his time, energy, love, and care to source all of these varietals from everywhere. Tanzania, Honduras, Colombia, Panama, planted 100 hectares of geisha and hoping it works.
That's a lot of geishas.
A lot of geishas, 100 hectares in Brazil, full production, we're talking 7 to 10 years. So a lot of geisha. And so for me, why I like the project, number one, our relationship, trust. I feel that where he planted the coffees after we inspected the farm, there's 20 or 30% of the farm that's grown in a forest, which is not usual for Brazil. And the other 70%, we have really high elevations for Brazil, different sun exposures. So I felt I could get creative with this amazing terroir and with these varietals in order to really deliver geisha that has a beautiful profile, that's sustainable for the farmers, but also sustainable for the coffee shops. Geisha coffees, we love them, but they are a bit of when we have this amazing band and you jam in only with your friends. It's sort of not necessarily as accessible for the public as much for some markets due to the limitation of how much of geishas do we grow globally. Secondly, how expensive they are. So in Brazil, we thought, well, we can actually have coffees that, like from Brazil, they're very sweet. They have a lot of body, like Brazilian terroir. Geisha have a lot of beautiful florals and fruits. And throughout our networks and throughout our way of thinking about the coffees, we can actually create something new. Something new that's geisha coffee that has a lot of sweetness, a lot of body with beautiful florals, as opposed to amazing geisha coffee that has a lot of clarity and a lot of acidity. So we can actually, for the lovers of geisha, we can give them a different profile that will have a lot of value.
I'll ask you the sensitive questions. I know you have the Irish estates in Panama.
Yeah.
How does Panama see this? Is it as a provocation, or is it just like the Brazil geisha? Is the Brazil geisha separate, or is it seen as like a threat that it's going to threaten the whole Panamese geisha?
Great question, and I'm glad you asked. I think some people, when they look from the side, when they don't necessarily know motivation behind, some people can look at it as a threat. When you just know the surface.
When you say 100 acres of geisha,
when you say 100 acres of geisha, 10 containers, I don't know how much geisha in Panama is produced, but it might not even be 10 containers. I'm not sure. So on the surface, it sounds like a threat. Possibly, but of course it's not. Panama geisha is Panama geisha. There's a reason why the coffees from Panama taste so special and so different. I've planted Panama geisha from Jamison. I planted it in Honduras in 2016, and we're enjoying these coffees. They're beautiful, but that's Honduras geisha, even though seeds came from Panama. To its different terroir and everything else. And this, for example, in Honduras, we have this beautiful microclimate in Santa Barbara that has these beautiful blackcurrant notes. So to be able to taste florals from geisha with hint of these blackcurrants, that's Honduras geisha, and that's something we should be highlighting. The Brazil geisha is, we've discussed, it's low altitude, acidity will not be as high, these florals will not be as distinct, but we can build beautiful fruits and florals that might not be as intense, but we still, when people taste it, they go, oh, this is geisha. And also we can open up the markets because some people don't necessarily love a lot of acidity in a cup.
Yeah, that's true.
There's a quiet markets, like for example in Japan, even though Panama geisha in Japan is very, very popular, traditionally people in Japan do not like acidity as much. So if we can provide them a geisha that has the florals and the fruits and a lot of body, a lot of sweetness, a lot of people will connect with that coffee. And as a coffee professional, that's our goal, to connect as many people as possible globally with specialty coffee. And this is where I saw the gap that I can, together with Luis, we can fill, and we can create something that's new category for coffee, and more people will fall in love with these coffees.
I guess the highlight is on the terroir. It's that specifics of, I was talking to Isaac earlier about Ethiopia and what he thinks about seeing Ethiopian seeds planted all over the world. He was so proud to see Ethiopia and for the people to sell it as a high-end coffee, and how you see the Ethiopian seeds in Costa Rica, and you see them everywhere now.
Yeah.
And but then again, you go back to the terroir. Even though they're the same seeds, it's not the same coffee. Just because you have Ethiopia planted in Costa Rica,
Exactly.
you go back to terroir and how important the terroir is, and how that variety plays the role with the terroir.
Yeah. Everything it starts with terroir. Everything is there, and then second element is how a varietal adapts there. What can be possibly highlight of that varietal that we know they're famous for, and then how do we blend this with terroir to create something pretty unique for that environment.
How's coffee impacted your family? Because you're always traveling.
No one has ever asked me that. And we usually on this podcast do happy stuff and nice stuff.
Oh, there's happy stuff too.
This is happy stuff because it obviously, thankfully to coffee and my insane passion about coffee, we have a beautiful life. We have a house, car, and we can go and have holidays. That's a positive, and enough support to provide great education for our kids. But it's a challenge. It's a challenge to spend so much time away from the family. And, I remember in 2016, my daughter was, 2003, what is it? She was 12, 13 years old. And that was the time when I was traveling about 180 to 200 days overseas every year for like 2 or 3 years. And she told me, I wish you did not win this competition. And the world has access for you. You go everywhere. You do what you do, but I'm not with you. This is the result. So to hear things like that, it's tough, and you never forget it. My wife tells me that all the time. You travel a lot, or something, whatever. It's fine. I don't travel, right? But when your daughter tells you that, it hits you. So. Trying to balance it the best I can, like we've learned a lot. Try to travel with the family. Even though I've done work in Geneva, as you said, we're here for a few days, but we're gonna be meeting.
That's why we appreciate it so much, because every day with us is one day less with family,
with the family,
or with what you.
So finding that balance, because we love what we do work-wise. I love coffee, love people in a coffee. Obviously, finding that balance, it's not easy. It will never be perfect, but I think my wife is an absolute champion.
Anybody in coffee from the kid that have a what you call inclination or hope, or no?
I think Alex loves everything I do. We play European sport together.
You do also handball, so
we play in club. He's 17 and he needs to find his own path, and I'm there to support him with what he wants. My hope is that he continues coffee, but it's, as I mentioned, it's his own pathway. Our girl Anna, she's 21, 22. She wants to be a lawyer. She's finishing law end of this year, and I don't think she likes coffee.
You mentioned that when she was 13, so she's impacted by.
Maybe that's kind of in her. Like when you say coffee, like that means I'm away from my dad, and so it's a bit of a feeling. But yeah.
So, I mean, we're here because of Project Origin, obviously.
Yes.
I mean, and I've met you through Project Origin. My meeting with you, I'm not going to get into that rabbit hole, but that's another story of its own. But it's how the universe connects people, and that's just one example. And it came with its challenges too.
Yeah.
But the universe does bring people together. So, I mean. You're known for me. You're Project Origin, but actually, your journey of coffee is from Ona, and Ona is like a huge company. It's one of the most famous roasteries on the world level. In Australia, I know for sure because you're competing. Never been to Australia, but my daughter was in Australia. She was telling me they're absolute legends up in down there. Tell me a little bit about Ona's role in Project Origin, because I'm sure you just didn't jump into green coffee. How did Project Origin come about, and what's the story of Project Origin? Because I know you went through the barista championships. The story of Ona itself is one, from Ona to Project Origin to Nucleus Coffee Tools. I mean, the story goes on. But I'm curious, like, where did Project Origin come from?
Come from, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, great question. So 2008, Ona was established at home in a garage, 20, 30 square meter roastery. 2010, 11, actually made some key decisions that in order to do, I had my vision, which I've written on a napkin, what I would like to achieve with Ona. And 2, 3 years later, I realized that we can't walk alone. We got to have the right people. And today we pride ourselves in Ona Coffee. I truly believe we have a most amazing team in the world, dream team. And that doesn't mean that we are more skillful, most amazing people. We have a huge retention, 10, 15 years plus, so many people with us in a company, and obviously results, so many awards that we won throughout the world competitions. So this was the first lesson, 2010, 2012, finding the right people on a bus, as I call it.
On a bus?
On a bus.
Yeah.
So like it's analogy. I always talk about the bus. Like I might be the driver of the bus, but they actually all drive on a bus. And my goal is that to provide a clear vision where the company is heading, and they're all participating in that vision and driving their own bus towards to that destination. For me, it's a big one to understand who needs to sit in what bus, in what seat, and we all know that when people jump in a bus can be your coffee shop, your roastery, or you can call it however you want, whatever you do. Whatever seat people take in, they're not comfortable at the beginning, and that's normal. So it's our job as bus drivers to make sure they're comfortable. We support them, we guide them, we look after them, but we also need to recognize when are they too comfortable in that seat, and is this the right seat for them? Because we all change, we all evolve, we all who we are today. We will be different people in 6 months and 12 months. So when we are looking after the destination, I think more importantly, we need to look after who is going with us in that destination, and how strong is that team and the culture, and what sort of support do they need from time to time. And when we recognize that, hey, this is not right seat for these people, well, let's actually see what the right seat is. Everyone that works in Ona Coffee, they've changed, so many roles with us over so many years. And sometimes it also doesn't mean that when we decide to move them from seat A to seat B, that it's the right seat. If it doesn't work, well, let's actually discuss and find something again. So this was the philosophy of the bus for me in order to go to the next step. Back to your question, because I've gone now very long, so much around, but I'm getting there. Is okay, how did Project Origin start? Well, after myself roasting coffee for 3 or 4 years, I needed to find the right person on that particular seat. Someone to replace me in roasting coffee, because I used to roast. And my philosophy is, if someone's going to replace my job, I need to believe that they're going to do a better job than me. If they cannot do it better than me, then that's not right replacement, because I'm not the best in everything. And if I can find someone that can be the best in that seat, I've done a good job. And I think myself employing a Sam Cora, who at the time never saw the coffee roaster beforehand, was the right job to do, because he had the right attitude, right mindset, right absolutely everything to become, in my opinion, best roaster in the world that he is today. So that was that step. And then when Sam started roasting coffee, I could go deeper and further. And deeper and further means, what's the next step? Being barista for between 2003 till 2008, and then being a roaster between 2008 to 2011. My next natural step is I'd love to go and see what's happening at the farms. And when I started traveling to the farms in 2011, my first visit was Brazil, exploring Brazil for about a month. So many different farmers and places, and ended up deciding to work with Camo Coffee. That's when I realized, wow, this is really cool, actually, because impact, what happens on a farm level, it's a lot to control the quality. It's a lot more greater than in a roasting or brewing. My philosophy was, if we have a coffee quality as a pie chart, 50% comes from the farm, potential quality, and then how you roast, how you brew, water, and everything else. They all play a huge role. But I put a lot of my energy on this because this is what I believe is the most important. 2012 is when I decided to go to India. And in India, it really hit me to do a lot more than just buy coffees. Because back then, Project Origin did not exist. There was no idea. But I went to India. I tasted beautiful coffees, visited the Talana estate. They've never exported coffee before. They've never seen, foreigner coming to their farm. They've never tasted their coffee. They've been producing coffee since 1968. I was the first person to visit them and the first person to kind of export their coffees. But for me, it hit me because I don't think it was enough as a green bean buyer just to go there and buy the lots that I like and then not come back again, or maybe come or maybe not buy. I wanted to do more. I wanted to do projects. And I was seeing, people or, ladies picking up the coffees and they have, little toddlers, kids that put them in a shade next to the tree, big canopy trees. They are just next to the wild park. It's not very safe. It wasn't safe for them to be picking coffees in that environment, not safe to be, putting your kids next to the wildlife as well. Then I thought, well, why don't we look at organizing a small coffee event? Maybe we do latte at jam. We used to call it jam in the house. And then we do fundraiser. And then if we can collect enough funds, we can build a small childcare center. And then if you build a small childcare center, these kids can be in a childcare center during the day.
Please.
So 12 months later, I come back to India. We're opening this beautiful childcare center because we started doing these jams. And obviously you start feeling good because you're not just buying coffees. We're doing a little bit more. And this is when I said we should do more of these projects. And project is not just buying the best lots. Project is empowering people locally in the best way we can. And then I kept saying the word project. And one of our employees, well, you should come up with another name or initiative or company, just call it whatever. So when you talk about it, we know what you're talking about. And they said, well, why don't we call this initiative Project Origin? So yeah, that sounds great. So he made a logo and we kept calling it Project Origin. And then in 2013, 2014, we wanted to do more projects because we can see it. We can see the purpose of it. We go to Honduras, let's see whether we can do something with a local school. I go to Brazil and I start learning about processing, about, varietals and fermentations. So when we go to see our project partners, maybe in Honduras and some other countries, El Salvador, we can do some experiments together with them. You met Mauricio from El Salvador.
Yes.
So I've actually met Mauricio in Brazil, looking to buy Brazilian coffee, learning how they do naturals. And Mauricio flew to Brazil to learn about the naturals. 6 months later, I'm in El Salvador with Mauricio doing 30, 40 different natural process coffees. And different techniques, different varietals, tasting, oh wow, this is good.
Supersonic.
That's how Supersonic name came up. So the idea that in 2014, I said, well, I need to have a farm now because if I can't be asking producers to be doing favors for us to do experiments because it doesn't work. We don't want to ruin their coffees. So 2014, I buy a farm. Honduras is a research and development farm. So we can put different varietals, different processes, different drying techniques, and really understand.
This is Finca Betty.
It's Finca Betty.
Betty being your wife, yes?
Yes. So that's how we started, learning, buying coffees, and often, Honduras is a funny story. I shared it a few times. I went to Honduras in 2014 to buy, I think my budget was 1 container of coffee. I bought 3. They were really good. I had no market for 3. I did not have that demand. I bought 3 containers and bought a farm. So on the fly back, I'm thinking, fuck, I bought a farm. Betty's going to kill me.
She didn't know.
She had no idea. I said, she's going to absolutely kill me. What do I do? And she still does accounts in a company. She's going to kill me because I bought 3 containers and we have no cash flow for 3 containers. I can't pay for this. I've committed and I signed the contracts and I need to buy it. So my solution was, well, for the farm, I'll call it Finca Betty under her name. So she should be okay. She should not be as angry. But with these 3 containers, I actually need to call my friends roasters and tell them, hey, I found these ridiculous coffees. Would you like to buy some? So they try the coffees and they, wow, this is the best Honduras I've ever tasted. Of course, I want to buy some. So we sold some coffees to these friends and said, maybe I should call it Project Origin coffees. And then in 2015, after we won World Barista Championships, That's when I actually called Habib, who is our current general manager. I've known him for a long time. I loved his values. He used to work as an account manager doing sales in roasting company. And pretty much day after the announcement, I was still in Seattle. I'm calling Habib. I said, Habib, and he's smiling. He goes, what's up? I said, can you move to Canberra? Can you start working with me? And he goes, okay. He was in Sydney. He goes, well, when would you like me to start? Can you start next week? He goes, okay. So I can't pay you how much you're getting. He goes, okay. And he accepted the job and he moved. And this was how officially Project Origin started. As
He's a part of the Origin, no?
Yeah.
Also, he's
exactly.
He's a shareholder.
Partner, exactly. So in 15 is when Project Origin started commercially trading.
Okay. So it's interesting this journey. Although I haven't seen India on your list.
No,
recently.
India is
That's what I remarked.
Exactly.
No, as you told me, I was like, hold on a second.
Family they still own the farm. 2021, they decided to slow down. Was changes of generations, so they decided not to be slowing down, to be stopping the trading and working. So they, because farm was inherited from the uncle and when uncle decided to retire, the next generation did not want to take over. So this moment they're just selling coffee commercially for the local market, and we have not had that India for the last 2 years.
So the base of Project Origin, where the client started, was from Australia. That's where
from Australia, correct?
From Australia, and from Australia you started, let's say, access. If a roaster comes to you and they've never heard of Project Origin, how would you present Project Origin? Never heard of Project Origin.
Project Origin is a company that evolved a lot, but we don't see ourselves as a classic traders.
That's what I wanted to know. How you pitch?
And when someone calls us, you guys are traders, we're not traders, because traders will trade coffee. We are value adders in this chain. And the way we add value is we have a very close relationship with our farmers. Our understanding on coffee is very deep. We have 3 farms ourselves, and we invested that infrastructure that we actually coffee farmers that we work with. And we work with them to add as much value to their coffees as possibly we can, throughout processing, throughout understanding what market wants, and changing certain variables into this entire chain. Even then, thinking long term with a lot of these farmers, where we say, hey, please put Sidra in Nicaragua, because Sidra is going to work very well. It works, so let's put some Típica Mejorados. Traders don't do that. Traders don't get involved that deep. But in the same time, because I'm a coffee roaster, as you said, like Ona is a coffee roaster, and we've gone through a lot, we can really work with the roasters to support roasters to differentiate themselves. And we had many meaningful conversations last couple of days with some of the roasters here that they said, Sash, I really love this profile, for example, from Mama Project, but I would like a little bit more fruit, or I'd like a little bit more of this, or a little bit more of that. And this is the power of Project Origin, that we can curate the coffees for roasters to serve their customers in the best possible way, in the part they want. And then we'll go back to our farms and we'll make the work that we need to make the work.
When did the processing, so I know that you started buying coffees, but when did the processing phase, where you go into farms and you partner up with them and do your supernaturals and the carbonic macerations, which are your signature processings?
This is the heart of Project Origin.
When did this approximately start?
From beginning, from India, from Brazil, from El Salvador with Mauricio, when we made, probably first time ever Cup of Excellence coffee that was natural process to be in top 5 in COE in El Salvador. 2013, number 1 Cup of Excellence winning in Honduras with La Huerta Finca Betty partners. In that same year, we worked with another producer that was number 2 in Honduras. So this year was obviously nice to see Don Fabio Jr. winning COE as well. So from beginning, a niche or a specialty was and still is finding these niche coffees, recognizing what's so special, whether it's a new region, new terroir, new producer, and finding the potential and working with the producers throughout fermentation and processing and drying to unlock that potential to be something truly amazing. Obviously, today we work with so many famous people, but when we started working with them, neither they were famous or Sasha was famous. We were just, two people that have a similar vision. They wanted to do something amazing for their region, for their country. And I wanted to do something amazing with them. And we developed some of the great, amazing coffees.
How much controversy was around the carbonic macerations when you started?
There still is today.
Yeah, but we didn't have the internet was not that active during that time as it is today. But I mean, how much? I mean, every time somebody innovates and brings something new, there's controversy around it. How did you go through that period with when you bring in carbonic maceration to competitions and or any kind of special processing, not carbonic macerations?
I think people that have not tasted our coffees, when they taste the coffees, they change. The expression changed. I still remember when Hidenori Izaki tasted our coffee in 2014 in December, and I said, "Hey, I've got this coffee. It's carbonic maceration. What?" And okay. Anyway, he tasted it, and his expression was, it said 1,000 words after he tasted it. It's, wow, this is huge. I have not tasted, this flavor, intensity, and everything. So people that have tasted it, that's all they needed to do. They just taste and they see it, they feel it. People that have not tasted it, then it's expensive, it's not going to work, makes no sense, it's not scalable, it's not replicable, it's very niche. But that's okay, because when you don't understand, you have a right to, from the sideline, judge or whatever. But it's nice to see that was, whatever we introduced in 2015 has changed many people's lives for better, and has done incredible things for many producers, for many roasters, and the customers. Like since then, at least in our coffee, we made this. It's a raspberry candy, which is like 40-50% CM coffee.
This one. I keep hearing about this one.
And it's kind of like when you look at Nike and you have Air Jordans. This is that for our coffee. Raspberry candy is the coffee that's insanely popular. We sell it all over the world on weekly, daily basis. People that taste it, they go, "Wow, this coffee changed my perception about a coffee." They kind of don't even know Honor, but they know raspberry candy because they remember that. And thankfully to that sort of profile at that CM, we know that we connected with so many end customers, which is our goal, to connect with the consumers because of the profile. So it made many people globally love coffee more than what I did before.
How is back home? How are you seen back home, the coffee scene? You left from home, you went to Australia because of the war, and of course now you're in different projects. You're quite well known. You've done innovative things. How is the coffee scene back home, and how is it when you go back home? Is it like Djokovic?
Yeah,
in coffee, like Djokovic in coffee?
Djokovic. Some people compare it like that. I love my country, love my people. It was every time when anyone reach us to me from Balkans, Serbia, Croatia, Bosnia, it doesn't matter, Macedonia, I always have more time for them. And the reason I have more time for them is specialty coffee in our country, it's starting, it's hard, and it's not easy. Economy is not as good as it is in other parts of the Europe, so they have it tough. These people are pioneers that are into the specialty coffee as well, and I have all the time in the world for them because it's not easy to be pioneer. Specialty coffee in my city, in Canberra, did not exist when we started, and we know how tough it was. And it's a lot more tough over there. So, when I go on holidays, I don't go around cafes a lot. I have my own coffee in a hotel. try to use that time for my family and to relax. But really, when I go to countries, I'm always make an effort to find some local coffee shops.
How different is the Australian coffee scene compared to European? Let's say, like you've been to Bucharest before, you know what it is, so it would be a good comparison. How are we differing? Do you see a? I know you're big milk drinkers.
Milk drinkers, so we would put more energy, at least in Ona coffee, in having different milk blends. We have fruity blend, chocolatey blend, caramel-like blends, and obviously all pure coffees coming from different countries and places. So
is the flat white from Australia or
yeah,
it's from the Australia way?
Yeah, so I think we take milk coffees more, maybe more serious. We care more about them. Like in Ona coffee, in most of our shops, we would have 3-4 milk blend options.
Oh, okay.
And when people come to our shops, they don't say, I can have a milky or flatty or flat white. Can I have gateway, or can I have raspberry candy, or can I have maple blend?
Based on tastes.
Based on taste. Because all the coffees there's not much difference between latte and flat white, and our customers.
What is the difference between a latte and a flat white?
I'm not sure.
If you mention that, every time somebody asks me, I don't know how to explain it.
There's no difference.
I usually say it's a double shot, but it's not true. It's also the milk
Apparently in my opinion, there's no difference. One is served in a cup, one is served in a glass. If you drink them without looking, they both taste the same.
Which is served in
a latte.
Okay.
But we've sort of about 10-12 years ago, we've decided, hey, we actually don't want to be having a menu of lattes or flat whites or cappuccinos. We just have a milk coffee, and you can choose milk coffee according to flavor profiles you like to taste, and we serve you the blend.
So I go back to the question of home, because I had the reason for asking this. I mean, since we started collaborating with you, first of all, it was Romania, then it was like, oh, okay, country nearby. Then people started reaching out to us, hey, we want this coffee too, we want this coffee too. And then finally I contacted you and I was like, look, this has to look in a way that how we can get Project Origin coffees to the European market. Mm-hmm. And I mean, my question is, it was the same for Jay when I asked Jim Jameson about how he sees Europe and how it's different from Asia and how Asia is gobbling up all the coffees and how Europe is kind of behind. How are you seeing the vision of Project Origin in Europe, since you are a European? I mean, this is your home. So yeah. I'm trying to think, what's your vision for it and what's your, how you see it down the line?
Well, with working with you now for last 3 years, it's really nice when I open up my social and I can see someone from Croatia. They have Amagation.
We've met some wonderful people through you. So
and for me, like I could not ever dream that one day people from my birthplace would be really willing to be part of this, and that's thankfully to you as well, because you can bring all of these coffees and share them with the community. So it's special. It's more special when we sell coffees to someone from here. Then maybe some places I don't know. But even though that's special as well, because sometimes I might be at the airport in random country and say, the coffee is there. This is so cool. Yeah, I think that it's a great feeling, and very, very thankful for you trusting us, and you do trust us a lot. Like going to Brazil last year, and it's a pilot project, and hey, I actually want to be one of the first people in the world to introduce this coffee. So I think throughout your work with what was maybe not accessible, maybe disadvantaged, well, you're actually one of the front runners of Project Origin, because you're traveling with us. We are very close. You understand all of the new projects that we are doing, and you're part of them, and you're taking that gamble like we are, because when you do something new, when you pioneer in something, you have an idea, but you don't quite know how well it's going to work out. It's been great.
For sure. I mean,
to have you. Great to have a trust from the community as well here in Europe.
I think that's what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
I think the trust comes from the community. Yeah. We're just channels. So I think that's where the everything is coming from. As I said, we're channels. We're making it easier and more accessible for some of these coffees to get to roasters, and. But it is exciting. Yeah. When I started this, even though it comes with bunch of challenges. And when I mean a bunch of challenges, green coffee itself is an animal of its own for me.
Yeah.
We entered green coffee because we're doing so many distribution of roasters and setting up roasteries through Probat and Stronghold. So our journey towards green coffee was from equipment side. And every roaster we were setting up, they were asking for green coffee, and we were sending them to somewhere in Europe. And we kept doing that. And at one point, I mean, the question was, do we roast or not? Because we're dealing with the roasters every day. And this question comes up, do you roast or not? Do you roast or not? And we took a decision together with my wife. We said, no, we don't roast because we're already setting up and we don't want to compete. Maybe it's not even competing. It's not even that. Maybe that's the reason. But we said we won't go there. But how do we work with coffee? We love farmers. We love the coffee farms. We love to travel. How do we do this? I mean, green coffee was, when I started, it was so far away because it's such a cash-driven business, and maybe many people don't know about how this works. That you have to have in 2-3 months when the harvest is coming out, you have to have tons and tons of cash because everything has to be paid up front. So it's not like you're buying espresso machines and you get them once a month and you're kind of like laying it out. So it came with so many challenges, and it still is coming with so many challenges. But somehow, when you connect with the right people, and one thing which I've observed in this business, which is really like, I think it's from my dad's time, I remember, where the handshake and that word of mouth is more important than a contract. And that I've realized. Going into Brazil, I saw this. I was like, okay, if they trust you, they're all in. But that trust is two ways, it's not one way. So, and there are contracts, but the trust is before. And when I win, nobody asked me, what's your credit line? Are you good for that? The good for that is because, okay, you kind of know this person. We trust them, so we trust you.
Yeah.
That was special for me because I remember this one from my youth with my dad when I was in Iran. And that's how they were doing business. The business was it was done through a handshake, and it was done through your reputation and not through contracts. And if your reputation was the way it was, then you were having access to unlimited stuff. If your reputation was tainted, it didn't matter. It wasn't in courts. The market took you out. So kind of I felt here as well. It's everybody knows everyone, so you have to really be careful. Don't take the trust for granted, because the trust, they put it out there. And so that's a challenging part of the green coffee business for me, because I'm still learning. I'm only a few years, so coming into contact with people with experience for me is a learning phase. Where do you want to see Project Origin? Let's say in 5 years in Europe. How do you see Project Origin in 5 years in Europe? Since you're on a bus, we're on the bus. Let's say, where's the bus is going?
I think what we've done yesterday and today is a bit of a trailer where we would like to see it. We had an amazing day yesterday, having Jamison with us from Panama, a partner, Luis Paulo from Brazil, Primrose team as well. Like, it's a huge honor. These people flew here to be with us because they trust, as you said. And I think you put it nicely, that trust, we give trust, but we need to make sure that we can honor it with actions and what we do. So, I'd love to continue what we're starting. In Project Origin, we have so many amazing producers that we work with. Like in Nicaragua, we have a farm there. Looking forward to having Claudia to come here. We have a beautiful project.
So where do you have your farms? Let's clarify this. Where is Project Origin?
So we have a farm in Honduras.
Okay.
Which is Finca Betty. Yeah. That's in cooperation with my own farm with Betty's, and we also work with a number of producers in Santa Barbara. We also have a farm in Nicaragua, El Arbol Farm. We started this farm in 2015, and today this farm is about 28 acres, 25 different varietals that I've managed to bring from all over the world. We're doing a lot of CM coffees. As a part of that, Claudia now grew to have exporting company that's called Breed Azul. In that exporting company, we have a joint venture with all of the CM coffee supernaturals that we do together, and working with 30 plus farmers. So we in this beautiful story, We won the coffees that were processed in our station. We won 2 times Cup of Excellence in the last 4 years.
I didn't know that.
Number one. And so 2 times number one and another 6, 7 awards in top 10. So, and that happened with the common varietals, with Catuais. And our goal is the reason why I wanted to buy this farm. For me, this was university because El Arbol farm is 1,000 meters altitude, so not high. We had Catimos, Marsellesas, all of the common varietals. And farm was producing coffees for 100 years. Souls are very tired. Everything was tired. So we thought, and it was probably one of the worst farms in Nicaragua. And the more Claudia was telling me how bad it was, when she was selling it to me, I was getting more excited. Because my goal was, how do we turn this really bad farm into something amazing? This is my university, because if we can do that, we can do that for everyone in Nicaragua. And that's what we've done. We took a long road. When we bought the farms, coffees were tasting 76, 78 points. From green, they were going directly to brown. Cherries, disaster. Remember Hugh Kelly was there with me on that trip, and he goes, "Why did you buy this? Like, if we change this here, we will do amazing things." And that's what's happened in 10 years now. Now we are processing coffees for 20, 32 different farmers. We have a beautiful portfolio of the coffees, and these farmers, throughout our work and support, our expertise in the processing, they've been winning Cup of Excellence. And we connected them with so many people globally. So we're living our vision and mission. So this is another story that I'd love to bring here. I'd love to bring another beautiful story with David Maguta that you've been a huge part of, and you have so much trust into his work. But how amazing it would be to have David to come here and see how his coffees are served and tour around, and gives me goosebumps. So we'd love to continue sharing these beautiful stories, these amazing coffees, and connecting the world globally. And you are amazing hub. You have a great facilities, great care, great love for the community as well, and we are privileged to work with you.
Yeah. Thank you very much. That's a wrap up for this event. God knows when will be the next one. Hopefully we'll see. But it's the first event of this Green Connect, where I think we had around 22 roasters in total, around 40 people, which for me was like amazing that the people trust us to come. And of course the producers, which for us is a unique thing to have so many producers coming in and they spend their time when there's so many other markets you can go to that I'm sure do higher volumes than us, and maybe we're not the priority on the volume. So we're also working and excited. Hopefully one day we'll be hosting a World of Coffee. I think Romania itself, it's come a long way in the 10 years I've been working in the specialty coffee, and the roasters, the baristas, the cafe scenes. It's a hidden gem, is what I call it, of Eastern Europe. But I think the Eastern Europe is just not about Romania. It's from Czech Republic, the Prague scene. You got Warsaw and Poland, and so many cities in Poland. I think this whole Eastern Central Europe area is doing such a great job with the coffees, and there's such big potential. So we're quite excited. Lots of emotions. Yeah. Thanks for coming here, and
Thank you. No, it was wonderful. Thank you to you and your team that's worked after Geneva really hard to make this happen, and all of the roasters that we've decided to be actually with us after the coffee show. Not many people want to do another coffee show.
yes.
And for me, it was wonderful to have really great interactions with everyone. And as we were saying, great community, great cafes, great roasters, and looking forward to spending another day here. Thank you, mate.
Thanks.